Let's talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 181. This chapter is titled Trees on the Mind, and in the last chapter, the aging devil opened its domain expansion, trapping Asa and Denji inside of it. This chapter starts off with Asa walking around the forest, and in her inner monologue, she's saying, "Don't panic, we can totally figure this out. I'm totally fine. Hasn't this happened before? It's the same as that time with the Eternity Devil. I know how to escape. All I need to do is perceive this space as mine. We can return to normal world if I turn this space into a weapon." Then Yoru takes control of Asa's body, points the finger gun to her head, and says bang. Nothing happened, but Asa is shocked. Asa then asks Yoru what the heck is she doing, and Yoru says that she's been unable to use her gun devil powers twice now. She then tries to make a twig sword, but it doesn't work. This is different from the time with the Eternity Devil. Devil powers don't work in this world. Asa then replies, "So what now?" Yoru leans over a tree and said, "My strength is no match for aging devils." "So what's the plan?" says Asa as Yoru in rage punches a tree. The tree then responds with, "Ow, that hurts." And since Asa's body is frightened, she switches back with Yoru. She then begins to run through a forest of infinite tree people and trips over Denji. And the guy from the last chapter, who's basically an exposition of what is going on, asks Asa that, "I take that you've seen a tree person." They then say, "Welcome back, Seine. If you live here for 1,000 years, you can turn into a tree like them. Then, when the tree roots rot away into the soil, and your mind and body have fully become one with nature, you can return your body to the real world." And I'm not gonna lie, the aging devil is pretty OP, as you have to live in this space for 1,000 years before you can even turn into a tree. Then depending on what kind of trees these are, you can either live for another 50 to 1,000 years. Then once you have died as a tree, only then can you return back to your body. And that's pretty cool. That's probably one of the strongest devil powers we have witnessed in all of Chainsaw Man up until this point. As we pan over the infinite amount of tree people that are inside of this domain, Yoru then says to Denji, "This is all your fault. This is all your fault, Chainsaw. Wake up, damn you. I'm stuck here because you always get tangled up with weird devils." Denji is laying there as he begins to cry with a bloody nose, because Yoru was repeatedly punching him in the face. Denji then says, "Every single person who gets involved with me winds up miserable. I'm so freaking sorry. I'm gonna stay right here and reflect on my mistakes until I turn into a big ass tree. That'll be my punishment. My punishment for being a horny, empty-headed idiot." I wonder when Denji will have a character development moment where he starts thinking with his brain and not his other head. It would be nice to see Denji actually growing for a change and not the same old 16-year-old. But who can blame him, as for his whole life he never really had a childhood, and then once he gains that childhood, or not even childhood, once he gains that normal life, quote unquote, that's when all his desires decide to take over his mind. And the most prominent desire that he has is to get laid. And hey, we've all been 16 at some point in time, so while some of the things that Denji does seem irresponsible, in hindsight, I'm like, wow, I really was like this at 16 years old. Twin really liked me for real. If you subtract being Chainsaw Man and fighting devils, we're practically the same. What a weird angle to relate to a main character. I appreciate that, but I just wish I could see Denji grow. Yoru then says, "Stop crying, you half-wit, I'll hit you," as she turns Denji over for what we think is gonna be another punch. But I kid you not, it's literally Yoru pulling the same thing that she did a couple chapters back. And that's just taking it without Denji's approval. Now, this might be because Yoru is a devil and she doesn't really understand human emotions, and all she knows is that Denji wants to get laid. So to her, in this moment, for her whole overarching goal of to make Chainsaw Man a weapon, she decides to kiss this man. And Yoru is unironically fumbling her own bag, because she's trying to get Denji to be Asa's boyfriend, but she's not taking into account how weird this makes Denji feel. And while yes, he might enjoy it at the moment, he was literally just complaining about being horny all the time. So it's like, bro, Yoru, read the room. This isn't really the appropriate time to be pulling such actions. And I personally think that Yoru should take the back seat and let Asa proceed to make Denji the weapon. Because Asa, being human and being lonely, understands the pain that Denji is going through. And while it might not be super precise, she can still empathize with Denji as she is a human. But to Denji, it just seems as Asa is throwing mixed signals, and is just another woman trying to use him for his power, just like all the other women in Chainsaw Man. Now, this is a pretty short video, and my first Chainsaw Man review. But I'm not new to Chainsaw Man, as I have been reading this series on the back burner since chapter 35. Well, tell me guys what you think about this chapter in the comment section down below. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as I will have more anime and manga content coming for you guys. If you made it this far into the video, thank you, because you didn't have to. It has been Otaku Talks.